Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Deep Dive. I'm Alok Srivastava and today I'm going to discuss about another very hot topic of system design, which is microservice versus monolithic architecture. So what is monolithic? Say, let's suppose I have to build an e-commerce website. So if I go through a monolithic architecture, that means I have to build a one big application which has all the multiple modules. One is taking care of authorization, other is taking care of payment, one is taking care of your cart management, other is taking care of your notification, but it's a one piece of application which is deployed on a server talking to a database, and that's it. That's monolithic because it is like a one big source code deployed on a server. What's the advantage and disadvantage of it? So, like one advantage we can think of is that it's generally faster. I'll explain why it's faster once I explain you about microservice architecture. And one disadvantage I can clearly saw from this is that it's very difficult for a new developer to understand the whole source code, because suppose I have a new V to a company or to a team and I see a monolithic architecture, I'll be run out of this mind and understanding the source code because it's just a mesh. Everything is in the same piece of application, and that exactly is one of the biggest disadvantages of monolithic. Uh, Continuing on this monolithic, one very important misconception that generally people has that we cannot scale monolithic architecture. Guys, that's a false perception, I could say. We can certainly scale it, like we can horizontally scale it by deploying the same applications on the multiple server. There's like server 1, we can deploy another whole bunch of this, on the server, say server 2, and we have a load balancer here which may decide based on the traffic that which server to route. But yes, every server has the complete source code. That's because it's a monolithic one. So what is microservice architecture? We have seen in monolithic that it's a one big application which is deployed on a server. In microservice is completely different. Instead of a one big application, we break the application into multiple decoupled application. We call it as a services, and these services interact each other through some communication channel. We call it as API. So every service has exposed a set of APIs through which they interact to each other, and every service is more or less decoupled. So coming back to the e-commerce application that we talked about, we have like in a microservice architecture, we have multiple application, multiple services like authorization service, call it auth, or a card service, or payment service, or notification service. And I said all these services are basically decoupled, and they are basically interacting each other through some APIs. Each service has a small, as a tiny database associated with it. So they are not exactly, these are requirement of a central database. Every service is quite independent of itself. So does this mean microservice doesn't have any disadvantage? No. One I already told you about monolithic architecture's advantage is that it's relatively faster than microservice, because every module is within the same application. You doesn't require any inter-module or inter-application communication which you require in the microservice one. In monolithic, the inter-module or inter-feature interaction is through inter-process communication, which is like IPC. But in microservice, different application, different services need to interact through APIs, which we call as a remote procedure call, RPC, and that is considerably costlier than IPC. So for a small scale application, I would still recommend to go for a monolithic one. But for a large scale application like Uber or Facebook, I would suggest to go for a microservice architecture. So I think, guys, that's all from my side for the microservice versus monolithic. If you have any doubt or if you need any further deep dive into it, please put a comment on the description below, and don't please don't forget to subscribe and like this video.